Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and Injustice vs. Masters of the Universe. All right, we're about to get a little sick here. First off, oh my God, is this not a gorgeous cover? Now, I know that there was a Masters of the Universe versus Injustice before, versus the DC Universe, something to that effect before. And I know I've seen a couple of images online before of He-Man putting the Sword of Eternia through the, what's his face, Superman's chest or something like that, potentially killing him, which makes sense because the sword is magical and Superman has zero defense against magic. It's literally like open season on the Superman. So yeah, this is actually a really surprisingly good mesh. You know, like the best Superman has against He-Man is that he could fly and He-Man can't. Now, I am an old school He-Man fan. I read the very first He-Man comic book that ever existed. It was when you bought the original He-Man. He came with a comic book, and he had the very first one, the little mini one, and that was before they had any story for him. He was just supposed to be a wandering Conan the Barbarian type. He had an axe, and the Sword of Eternia was actually two parts. He-Man had one, and Skeletor had the other. You combine them both, you stick them in Castle Grayskull. I had Castle Grayskull, had the first two versions of He-Man, the first two versions of Skeletor, the second versions of each. They had the Battle Master one. You hit them like, 2-3 times and they keep changing and they have the battle damage. And I'm a huge He-Man fan from back in the day. You know what I'm saying? And this reminded me of that. I remember watching the comic or the cartoons, and it's like, okay, it's not quite the same He-Man. Who's this Prince Adam schmuck? You know what I'm saying? But I was a kid, so I dug it. You know what I'm saying? What was I, like 7? I think I was 7. I was in second grade at the time. I was 7 years old. It was awesome. I loved me some He-Man, This is a little bit closer to that He-Man that I know and love, and I don't want to start acting, silly and whatnot. And I didn't notice Cringer in here. Orko is still in here, which I was never really a huge fan of Orko, but it is what it is. I'll tell you what, though, one thing really quick. If you read the Masters of the Universe versus Thundercats, you'll be better off, apparently, because in there, some stuff happened and it's referenced in here. So it's like, oh, cool. Okay, so you're telling me to go and buy other DC comics and, what was it, IDW comics? I don't remember who actually has the license for He-Man, because what's up with that? And if they don't show the stuff soon, then I'm just not even going to be bothered with it. Where is it? Because Tim Seeley, and Tim Seeley is writing this. And Freddie E. Williams II is the artist. Jeremy Colwell is the colorist, and Wes Abbott is the letterer. So, okay, awesome. I don't see anything else in here. Does DC actually have the whole license? Because that would be pretty impressive if that's the case. I don't see anybody else credited. Okay, I'm going to just pretend that DC has the license to Masters of the Universe. Anyhow, yeah, dude, this was very, very enjoyable. Now, this is part 1 of 6, all right, a little mini-series. And basically, Fakor had just, Fakor is the big blue dude, you know what I'm saying? He was just in charge of, he was in charge of all of Eternia, because he became King He-Man, and, what do you call it? He-Man was in some pool of despair or something like that. Anyway, and it was for like 3 months, so he was legit large and in charge. And, I think I had the Fakor toy when I was a kid, too, if not my best friend did. And I don't remember him being a robot or a cyborg, but I don't remember actually reading this stupid thing anyway. Regardless, Zodiac is in here, and I never had Zodiac. Zodiac is a cool-looking character, and he reminds me a lot of the New Gods. Okay, am I really going to forget everybody's name here? Metron, there we go. Reminds me of Metron a lot because he's always in this chair and whatnot. Look at that first page, dude. That's awesome. Zodiac in the background and he's in the foreground also. That is awesome. Like, I want to do a 10 things about Zodiac, man. Like, this character looks awesome. And later on, he does meet one of the New Gods, but it's not it's not Metron, really. Hopefully later it's Metron, but for now, it's the Black Racer. And the Black Racer runs up, he's like, sorry, cat, ain't nobody outrunning me. Maybe he's a new guy? Maybe this is a new Black Racer? They're always changing the Black Racer, Maybe he's new and he doesn't realize that, yeah, people outrun him all the time, all right? Anyway, he gets him because at the end of this comic book, Darkseid shows up and he's going to take over Eternia. Now, that's interesting that that's about to happen. Like he's going. Darkseid is bringing the dark new gods from Apocalypse to Eternia to take over. That's sick. At the same moment that Batman just recruits Prince Adam as He-Man to come over and take over at the what do you call it, to try and take out Superman. And you remember I was saying before about He-Man with the battle axe? Yeah, I saw this and just I loved him with the battle axe way more than with the sword, because like that was my first experience with him. He came with the battle axe and he came with half the sword of Eternia. And he did come with the shield, and he was just freaking awesome. I think he came with the shield. I'm positive he came with the shield, but he's freaking awesome. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, all sorts of like, oh, dude, there's a crossover here between Moss Man and Swamp Thing, which is like, are you kidding me? I never knew I wanted this so desperately before. This is so cool. Like, I feel like a second grader again. And I was a second grader when the cartoon came out. It was at least a year or two before that the what do you call it? I was playing with the action figures. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. Anyway, what an absolutely great comic book this is. So he gets recruited to come over and stop the Injustice version of Superman. And what's interesting is that Batman comes to, you know, in his full Dark Knight costume, but Batman is also, because I remember this from a certain part, Batman is actually still with Superman in a Metron kind of, Metron's all over the place here, sort of capacity. In so much as he's locked down and he's like, you know, answering, you know, equations for Superman and whatnot. Not clown around. This is sick. So I guess this is a different version of Batman from someplace else. Yo, that Injustice Superman just needs to be stopped, dude. And I'm hoping that freaking He-Man here can do that, but then people will be upset because Injustice stops. And I can imagine how upset people would be at He-Man for that. But dude, this was a great comic book, man. This was an awesome comic book. Yo, they are not playing around. First off, check this out. What? Oh, hold on. Yeah, there we go. So, who is this again? Cobra? What is, what did they say her name is? Is that the Black Oracle identity? Yeah, Black Oracle, apparently. Copperhead. So, Black Oracle detected some stuff, and Copperhead, there's a version of Copperhead over here, and she jumps down, and she's going after, yo, these are kids. And over here, look, you actually notice, crack. Like, she's breaking bones and jacking these kids up because they were potentially, like, not even, they don't have any spray cans in their hand or anything like that. They were getting ready to get the heck out of Dodge just because they see this and like, I think that, you know, they can hear things. The one kid's like, oh, I heard that this meant something good. You know, my mom said this meant something good a long time ago. It's like, yeah, well, your mom's stupid because this means slavery. And that's a thought crime. They legit said, you know, as Wonder Woman standing there looking down at Copperhead about to, or actually breaking these kids' bones. They're kids, man. They're not clowning around. So then what happens later on, there's the final thing I'm going to show you. Just, I show a lot for the first issues because, yeah, I really want you to read this comic. There's Skeletor, old, decrepit, and everything. Apparently, Superman had found him some time ago. And he's like, yeah, listen, you know, I'm really useful for finding magical items. I've always done that. Anyway, could you grab Billy Bastion sneakers? Because they're really important. They're magical items. Really? They're magical items? What, he's stepping Shazam crap? I don't know, but that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. And Sorceress is looking hot as usual. I'm just saying. Okay, yeah, dude, this was a sick comic book. Oh my god. Oh my god, I can't wait. Oh, and here's the question. Am I really seeing Batman smile at Orko? He makes me laugh. Like, what? Yo, I don't know what's going on with Injustice. At least the He-Man characters don't change too much. But yeah, this is interesting because there's also a lot of political upheaval going on in Eternia. There's a small but very loud minority of people screaming they want a totalitarian government. And I get it because people people are willing to give up their freedoms for safety a lot of times, and they don't realize what's actually happening. It is what it is. The comic book does get, you know, more than just a little bit political, especially in the beginning. I'm down with that. I know a lot of people don't like politics in their comic books. Nope. I'm a huge fan of there being politics in their comics because I play Dungeons & Dragons. And politics are one of the main driving factors in a Dungeons & Dragons campaign if it's not just going to be, okay, roll to hit the spider. Why is the spider attacking me? Because it's a spider. No, dude, I want politics and intrigue and mystery in my role-playing adventures and in my comic books. I enjoy that. So this was, wow, I picked this up on a whim. I saw it. In fact, if you go check out my This Week in Comics, it's always the first video I put in the playlist for I put out a playlist of all the week's comics. And the first video is always This Week in Comics, where I go to Gotham Central Comics and Collectibles in Mississauga, Ontario, Canada, and I check out. Anyway, just go and look at the video. But I didn't realize this was there, and after I got finished reviewing all the comics I was going to review, all of a sudden, ding, ding, ding! Look at this. So I just showed a picture because I didn't want to jump back on and be like, oh, by the way, guys, I forgot this. I just showed a picture really quick of me with this comic book because this was a welcome surprise, especially after I read it. So yeah, this is, wow. Oh, wow. Wow. I can't wait for the next 5 issues, man. This is going to be awesome. This looks like it's going to be awesome. All right, that's it for me, guys. If that didn't convince you to get the comic book, you just, I ain't get it. No, I'm boycotting He-Man. I don't know why you would. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.